Laura Schwartz.
No. Go.
No?
Yeah.
My name is Laura Schwartz, and I'm a regional consultant for Houghton Mifflin Harcourt in the Central Region. Today we're going to be talking about journeys. During this presentation, there's going to be 3 types of engagements. When you see red, that means you're focused on me. It's leader red. When it's yellow, that means that you're going to be exploring as a group. And when you see green, the green type of engagement will be you'll be working as an individual or in a small group. So come with me on a journey through journeys where you're going to learn how to teach journeys, differentiate for students, and assess them using this program. I'd like you to go to your Teacher Central login that you were given at the beginning of the presentation and log into to Teacher Central to the dashboard. And I want you to notice in the dashboard the different sections that there are. There is a planning section, and then there's color coding for the teachers. Blue is for professional development, and the red area are teacher materials. Yellow is the student book. There's also an area for assignments, and there's an area for reports. And what's not shown on here is a green area for testing and a purple area for collaboration. So what kind of information is going to help you plan for journeys? And you have this quick start planning and pacing guide. So if you look at this Unit 1 in the Planning and Pacing Guide, and you'll see that it's divided up into days 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And going down, you'll see that there's whole group lessons which focus on the target skills and strategies. And then you'll see a green section that focuses on spelling and writing. And then at the bottom is a small group section that's going to focus on differentiation and reteaching and individualizing the learning and instruction. You also have what's called a focus wall. And for kindergarten through 2nd grade, the first couple weeks are spent on introduction lessons. For the other students, the focus wall is going to include 5 days of lessons with skills, strategies, essential questions, the anchor text, and the paired reading. Now, you want to be able to prepare your students for complex texts. So there is a text complexity chart so that you're familiar with what is going to be taught and how it will relate to your students' abilities. And there's also an area with text x-ray, and that area is used to support English language learners with the target vocabulary and the skills and the strategies. Now, going back to the weekly planner, you can see that it is color-coded, and it gives you materials that you're supposed to be using for each of the days, and it gives you the lessons, and all your instructions are there. Opening routines is another feature of journeys, and opening routines usually focus around a game, and that game will probably be relating to the phonics that will then relate to the target vocabulary to support the students. There's also a teacher read aloud, and this you get through the Digital Teachers Edition, and you can see that the read aloud has target vocabulary words that are highlighted, and the purpose is for you to model fluent reading for your students. There's also lessons on phonics and phonemic awareness, and those those phonics skills are going to lead into the target vocabulary that you're teaching the students. There's Alpha Friend cards, and these are for students who are in kindergarten. And there's sound and spelling cards. The yellow sound and spelling cards are for students in grades 1. The green cards are for students in grade 3. And for grade 2, you can choose to use either yellow or green, or you can use both. Vocabulary in context and words to know is another feature of the program. Kindergarten has 88 vocabulary words that are introduced. And this teaches students this vocabulary and in context, helps students apply those high-frequency words that they're learning. Vocabulary in context cards, this is the front of the card, and this supports the vocabulary instruction. And there's the back of the card also, which will support that instruction. And kindergarten students will be introduced to a flip chart model of this. The if-then chart, this helps you continuously progress monitor your students, and it addresses the target vocabulary during those 5 days of lessons. Reading comprehension, this begins in grades 1 through 6, and students will be focusing on the target skill, and they'll start using Think, Pair, Share as part of this feature. The scaffolded close reading model is also included in the program, and on the left side it gives you information about the first read. This is for grades 4 through 6, and this is where they're going to develop that comprehension of the target vocabulary and that strategy that you're teaching them. On the right side, you are going to learn about the second read and what you do during the third read for the close reading. The second read, you're going to be focusing on analyzing the text for grades 4 through 6. And the third read, you'll be doing independent reading, and that will be supported, that will support students with Reader's Notebook, and this can be done while the teacher is working with small groups. Other students can be using the Reader's Notebook. Writing scope and sequence, this is where you will be helping the students, supporting them in grammar, writing, and spelling. So, what information did you learn that's going to help you make some decisions in your planning from this weekly planner? And one thing to think about is not to spend too much time on a think aloud or on vocabulary instruction. You want to be very careful about your pacing. So, and note that instruction is recursive, so the vocabulary is going to reoccur during the 5 days. Lesson 1, weekly planner. Notice that the second read is where you analyze the text, which I had mentioned before, and that's where you're going to find some graphic organizers and projectables. With your group at your tables, you're going to be doing a planning activity, and you're going to be looking at day 1, whole group instruction, and I'd like you to take a look at and be thinking about how you're going to implement routines. How are you going to do the opening routines, the teacher read aloud, phonemic awareness, vocabulary and context, read and comprehend, the anchor text, spelling, writing, and grammar. And during your review, be sure to note that there's a red wraparound section in your textbook, and that will be helping you with interventions for students who are English language learners, and it will give you some formative assessment information and how to practice and apply activities. Taking another look at the weekly planner, for day 3, take a look at what's similar from day 1 and day 2 on day 3, and note that it's different. And each day corresponds to the first read is the first day, the second read is the second day, and the third read is the third day. There's also paired selections, and those are going to be supporting the target skill and the strategy. So think about how those will support those skills. Returning again to the weekly planner, during small group instruction, that's where students develop mastery. That's where you differentiate instruction. That's where you also do enrichment, and students can work independently. There's a small group and independent resources that come with the program. There's vocabulary reader, reader's notebook, grab and go lessons, leveled readers, and notice down here there's 4 different types of readers. The green readers are for students who are struggling. Purple is for students who are on level. The blue square is for students who are advanced or that need a challenge. And the last, the teal triangle, or diamond rather, the teal diamond is for English language learners. For Tier 2 students, Journeys has many interventions for students who are in grades 1 through 6. There's the write-in reader, which reinforces vocabulary, and again, the red intervention tab in the back of your textbook, of your teacher's edition, has many other lessons. And there's also literacy centers for students who are in small group instruction, and these include comprehension and fluency and word study activities, think, write, pair, think and write, and they come in 3 different levels: an entry level, a grade level, and then more advanced challenge. And there's some suggestions for what to do in small group each day. On day 1 in small group, the students can use the vocabulary reader. On day 2, you can focus on differentiating comprehension skills. Day 3, students can use leveled readers. Day 4, you can differentiate vocabulary. And on day 5 is kind of a day where you reteach what students need to reteach, to learn again. Okay, thank you very much.